Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and welcome to the third installment of the Glorious and Free quilt. In the first two, we made the maple leaves and the 9 patches. Now we're going to be able to sew them together to make that nice big center medallion and the bigger border. It is going to go together very quick and easy because all of the blocks have been done. Let's get started. I'm going to continue using the fabric by Northcott, which is the nice white and the tomato red. The 4 small maple leaves can be put aside for after. We're going to need 8 of the large maple leaves and 8 of the 9 patch blocks, plus 8 2.5 by 9.5 inch whites, 2 2.5 by 36.5, 2 2.5 by 40.5. This is going to be the first border. Then we're going to have some skinny little borders at 1.5 inches, and we're going to need 2 at 58.5 inches and 2 at 60.5 inches. And this is all the cutting we're going to need to finish that center medallion. The first thing we're going to do is do the center of the quilt, which is going to have 4 maple leaves in the corners and 4 in the center. Now there are 2 ways you can put this together. You can put the 4 blocks together by the 4 rows, or you can do them in quarters. Each quarter is going to be the same. So let's start with doing the 4 quarters. So the first thing we're going to do is sew the maple leaves to the 9 patches, and they're going to all go together the same way. You have the small 9 patches go in the same direction as the stem, and you're going to have a solid red and a solid white touch up in the corner. So all 8 together. Put all your pieces going in the same direction, and then take the top 4 and just take them and lift them as you twist them out. So you have the stems going in the same direction and those little 9 patches going in the same direction. You will also have those solid reds going in the same direction. Now you can sew those together. And to sew those 4 corners together to make a medallion, it's really simple. What you need to do is take 1 point and make sure all of the ends are going to match. I find the easiest way is just to take that and turn the block all the way. So I have the 1, I'm going to take it and I'm going to move it again, and then 1 more. And by turning them that way, you make sure that they're all correct. So you have 4 stems coming into the center and your stems coming out. So the 2 together, then that center seam. When the center medallion is done, you need to add on your outside border. They're 2.5 inches. This is A and B. So you're going to take A, which is the shorter pieces, and put them on 2 sides. When you have that done, you're going to be able to put the B on the 2 opposite sides. And when that border's been put on, put this aside and pull out the rest of your large maple leaves and your 9 patches, because that's going to make another border. You'll have a total of 16 large maple leaves left. What we're going to do is divide it in 2 piles, and we're going to sew those maple leaves together so that the stem is touching. And take that pile and divide it in half and sew them together. You are going to have 4 units that look like this. On each side, sew the 2.5 by 9.5 inch pieces on. You're going to have 8, which will equal 1 on each side. On 2 of the units, you're going to add the 9 patches. So put 2 units away, and on the 2 left, the 9 patches are going to get sewn right onto those little white strips. And the little 9 patches are going to go in the same direction as the stem on the first maple leaf. So we're going down on each side. The solid red is going to be beside that white. It's just going to have that strip down the center. This is going to be the next row that goes around that center medallion. However, we're able to put on one of the last borders while it's still flat and not onto the big quilt, and that just makes it easier to maneuver under the machines. So we have 2 long strips, both at 1.5 inches, and these are the border ones. C is 1.5 inches by 58.5 inches. You're going to be able to take that C and sew it onto the top of this long unit. And you're going to want to sew them on the edge where you do not have the stems. So pin and sew that nice long border on. We now have 2 long units and 2 short units. We're going to sew the short unit first onto the body of the quilt. And because this quilt is square, it won't matter what side you put it on. You just need to have opposite sides, left or right, bottom or top, and have the stems coming into the body of the quilt. And stitch 1/4 inch. You will now be able to put that last border on. And that 9 patch is going to match up with that last row that you put on. So match the seams and sew a 1/4 inch. The red border is going to be on the outside, and the stems are pointing inside. You have 2 remaining strips left. These are strips set D, and it's 1.5 inches by 60.5 inches. And because we already did the one border, well, we know exactly where that goes, on the top and the bottom. Match up the edges and stitch down the 1/4 inch. And this month's installment will be done. The directions are in the description if you'd like to print them out and follow along. We have one more installment to go, and that's where we're going to join the 4 maple leaves into a big border and finish the quilt off. Now this quilt would look great in many different color combinations. You don't have to do it in the red and white. You could do it in blue and white, black and white, or scrappy. There are a lot of different color combinations you can use. What makes this quilt go together really quickly are the size of the blocks, nice and big. So I do hope you join me next month when we finish Glorious and Free. And thank you for joining me on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back. Let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.